Every World Cup creates a story nobody sees coming. In 2018, it was Croatia. In 2022, it was Morocco. And in 2026, another country could shock the entire planet. Because the World Cup doesn't always reward the biggest names. Sometimes it rewards the team nobody expected. So which countries could become the next great underdog story? Let's begin. Number 5. Ecuador, a team that most football fans continue to underestimate. When people talk about South American football, they talk about Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, sometimes Colombia. But Ecuador, they're usually forgotten. And that's exactly what makes them dangerous. Because while everyone else is looking somewhere else, Ecuador keeps improving. This isn't a team built around flashy headlines. It's built around discipline, structure, and one thing every tournament team needs: defense. And World Cups aren't won with style alone. They're won by teams that know how to survive pressure. One mistake can end 4 years of preparation. One goal can change everything. And Ecuador understands that. This generation is different. Their players are gaining experience at some of football's highest levels. And every season, they're becoming better. They're no longer intimidated by famous shirts, no longer impressed by big reputations. They believe they belong. And when an underdog starts believing, that's when favorites start getting nervous. Could Ecuador become the surprise package of 2026? Absolutely. And if they do, don't say nobody warned you. Number 4. Ivory Coast, a nation that already knows what it feels like to shock the football world. For years, fans talked about their golden generation. But now, a new generation is writing its own story. And unlike many underdogs, this team isn't afraid of pressure. It feeds on it. What makes Ivory Coast dangerous isn't just talent. It's unpredictability. You never know exactly where the next attack is coming from. They can defend. They can counter. They can turn one mistake into disaster in seconds. And that's exactly how many giant killings happen. Not through domination, through moments. Many of their players already perform under intense pressure every week. The lights won't scare them. The stage won't scare them. And confidence is one of the most dangerous things an underdog can possess. Because confidence spreads. One player believes, then another. Then the whole squad starts believing. And once that happens, even football giants start looking vulnerable. But the next country on this list might be even more dangerous. Because unlike Ecuador and Ivory Coast, they possess something every World Cup contender fears: a genuine superstar. Number 3. Norway, a country many football fans still aren't taking seriously enough. And that could be a very expensive mistake, because Norway now has something every great World Cup story needs: a player capable of changing everything. When Erling Haaland gets one opportunity, one moment, one mistake from a defender, the game can change instantly. But this isn't just the Haaland show, because Norway has something many underdogs don't have: support. For years, Norway depended on isolated talent. Now they're becoming a complete football team. And that's a dangerous transformation. Success creates belief. Belief creates momentum. And momentum has carried many teams further than anyone expected. History tells us something important. Every great underdog eventually reaches a moment where fear disappears. And Norway has an advantage. Nobody expects them to win the World Cup. The pressure is on everyone else. Freedom is dangerous. Teams that play without fear often become impossible to predict. A superstar striker, creative midfielders, growing confidence, and very little pressure. That's a combination that could create something special. If Norway survives the group stage, don't be surprised if bigger nations suddenly start paying attention. But if Norway is dangerous, the next team might be even more complete. Number 2. Senegal, a country carrying the hopes of an entire continent. African football has spent decades chasing a dream, breaking through football's final barrier. And Senegal might be the nation capable of writing the next chapter. What makes Senegal different is balance. They can defend, they can attack, and they know when to do both. Physically, they're among the strongest teams in world football, winning battles many teams simply can't win. But strength alone isn't enough. Fortunately for Senegal, they also have quality. Lots of it. Many of their players compete at the highest level every week. The pressure of a World Cup won't be new to them. And perhaps most importantly, this team knows what winning feels like. Winning changes people. It changes confidence. It changes belief. And belief changes tournaments. Morocco showed the world that African teams can compete with anyone. Senegal watched and learned. Now they have a chance to go even further, a chance to create history. Because when talent meets confidence, dangerous things happen. And right now, Senegal believes it belongs among football's elite. That's exactly why nobody should underestimate them. Not anymore. But the country at number 1 is different. Because unlike every team we've mentioned so far, this nation has been quietly preparing for this moment for years. And if everything goes right, they could become the biggest surprise of the entire tournament. Number 1, Japan, the country most capable of shocking the world in 2026. And here's what's interesting. Most football fans already know Japan is good, but very few believe they can become great. That's exactly why they're dangerous. Because the gap between good and great is often smaller than people realize. This isn't a team surviving on potential. They've already shown they can beat football giants. They've already proven they belong. What separates Japan from many underdogs is discipline. Every player knows their role. Every movement has purpose. Every mistake is minimized. Unlike teams that rely on individual brilliance, Japan operates like a machine. And machines don't panic. Modern football rewards organization, structure, intelligence, and Japan possesses all three. More Japanese players are competing in Europe's top leagues than ever before. And that experience matters. Year after year, tournament after tournament. This team keeps getting stronger. Success creates confidence. Confidence creates belief. And belief creates history. Every nation that eventually shocked the world reached a point where everything finally came together. Japan may be approaching that moment. A quarterfinal appearance would be huge. A semifinal appearance would be historic. And if things go perfectly, who knows? The smartest teams won't underestimate Japan, because they understand how dangerous this team has become. That's why Japan sits at number 1. Not because they're guaranteed to shock the world, but because they might be closer than anyone realizes. So there they are. 5 countries capable of changing the story of the 2026 World Cup. Ecuador, built on discipline, defense, and belief. Ivory Coast, unpredictable, fearless, and capable of hurting anyone. Norway, powered by world-class talent and dangerous freedom. Senegal, balanced, experienced, and hungry for history. And Japan, the team that might finally make the leap from respected outsider to genuine contender. The beautiful thing about football is that nobody truly knows what's going to happen. Not the fans, not the experts, not even the players. Every 4 years, a nation writes a story nobody thought was possible. Maybe one of these countries will do exactly that. Maybe one of them will become the next Morocco, the next Croatia, the next football miracle. But what do you think? Which country is most likely to shock the world in 2026? Let me know in the comments. And subscribe for more World Cup stories, football predictions, and football history. Because the next great football story may already be waiting to happen.